A very warm welcome to you from our studio in Central Jakarta. In today's episode, we bring you the latest updates coming from the House of Representatives of Indonesia. So now let's kickstart the program with our headlines. The ambassador of Romania held a meeting with the chairpersons of BKSAP of the House. Besides bilateral parliamentary dialogue, the meeting also discussed further cooperations in various sectors. The Vice Speaker of the House welcomed the chairpersons of the Policy Research Council, Liberal Democratic Party Japan. The meeting focused on enhancing bilateral ties. Indonesia and Qatar established friendly diplomatic relations in 1976, and since then the ties have been strengthened by cooperations in areas like trade, investment, and cultural exchange. Indonesia, home to the world's largest Muslim populations, is set to send a record-breaking 241,000 Hajj pilgrims to Mecca for the 2024 Hajj season. Asia's first recycled plastic eco-block school has been built in a small earthquake-devastated village in Lombok, Indonesia. The Committee for Inter-Parliamentary Cooperation of the House received a visit from the Romanian ambassador recently. The meeting aimed to strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. Bilateral relations between Indonesia and Romania have been established since the era of President Sukarno. Therefore, the chairperson of BKSAP of the House, Fadlizon, hopes more cooperation in various sectors, including the economy, trade, and agriculture, can strengthen the ties of the two countries. The meeting also discussed the plan of the Romanian Parliament to visit Indonesia in June. The agenda includes discussions on the next steps for agreements in defense and education.
Ini saya kira akan menjadi kunjungan yang juga penting karena hubungan kita dengan Romania selama ini sangat baik. Romania juga mulai mengekspor gandum menurut Pak Duta Besar ke Indonesia. Mereka dari sisi parlemen ingin ada pembicaraan bagaimana meningkatkan kerjasama terutama di bidang ekonomi, perdagangan, di bidang pertanian, di bidang cyber security, dan juga di beberapa bidang lainnya, termasuk merealisasikan MOU yang selama ini sudah ada antara Indonesia dengan Romania.
Recognizing Indonesia's vulnerability to natural disasters and its reliance on food security, Fadlizon encouraged Indonesia to learn from Romania's expertise in weather modification technology. Andini and Ade, TVA Parliament Report. The Vice Speaker for Industry and Development recently met Japan Council Policy Research. Through this meeting, young Indonesian farmers can have the opportunity to learn from Japan's expertise in agricultural technology. Vice Speaker for Industry and Development Rahmat Gobel points out the world is facing a food crisis due to climate change and global geopolitical conflict. Climate change has an impact on extreme heat or excessive rainfall. Gobel believes Indonesia can learn from Japan's use of technology in farming. He hopes young Indonesian farmers will learn the methods to boost the quality of Indonesia's agriculture and raise farmers' incomes.
Beberapa banyak hal yang kita diskusikan tadi termasuk pembangunan baik itu sumber daya manusia maupun pada di sektor ekonomi dan lainnya. Maka ini yang kita diskusikan. Kira-kira apa yang ke depan yang bisa kita ini kan. Saya sebagai anggota parlemen mempunyai konsen kepada masalah air dan masalah pertanian, khususnya dalam mengantisipasi food crisis. Nah, kalau air ini juga bagian dari upaya untuk menekan stunting dan maupun penyakit-penyakit kulit lainnya. Ini yang saya bicarakan, apakah bisa kita kerjasamakan, Jepang memberikan dukungan bantuan untuk itu.
Furthermore, Rahmat Gobel requested Japan's assistance with clean water technology, emphasizing that providing clean and healthy drinking waters remains a significant challenge for Indonesia. Overcoming issues in agriculture and clean water supply would enhance Indonesia's economic growth. Andini and Kristio, TVA Parliament Report. Indonesia and Qatar are actively involved in addressing global issues, including promoting sustainable development in Islamic countries and facilitating peace efforts between Israel and Palestine. In a bilateral meeting with the ambassador of Qatar to Indonesia, chairpersons of BKSAP of the House, Fadlizon, explained diplomatic relations between Indonesia and Qatar continue to strengthen, extend to government, business, and socio-cultural ties. Moreover, BKSAP of the House supports Qatar's initiatives to mediate the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The support underscores both nations' commitment to promoting peace and stability in the region.
Baik dari pemerintah, parlemen maupun dengan masyarakat, bisnis dan juga civil society. Jadi kita melihat bahwa hubungan Indonesia dengan Qatar ini semakin hari semakin baik dan semakin kuat. Qatar sangat berperan sekarang di dalam proses perdamaian sebagai peace negotiator, peacemaker, misalnya dalam konflik yang sekarang ini sedang berjalan antara Israel Palestina, karena pihak Qatar termasuk yang mendesak agar ada gencatan senjata dan akses kepada bantuan kemanusiaan kepada warga Gaza. Jadi kita juga sangat apresiasi apa yang dilakukan oleh pemerintah Qatar.
In addition to fighting for Palestinian independence, Indonesia and Qatar are also committed to realizing a corruption-free parliament through the global organizations of parliamentarians against corruptions. Ken Entegar, TVR Parliament Report. After the break, we bring you the latest from Hajj 2024. So stay with us right here only on House News. Welcome back to House News. Due to a significant increase in Indonesia Hajj quota for 2024, Commission 8 of the House requested the Ministry of Religions to ask Saudi Arabia governments for more Hajj officers. Indonesia received 2,000 additional quota for Hajj 2024. This additional allocation is divided equally between regular and special Hajj arrangements. Vice Chairperson of Commission 8 of the House, Diah Pitaloka, emphasizes the insufficient numbers of Hajj officers to assist pilgrims, as the officers have been reduced compared to the previous year. The situation would impact the quality of service provided, and Hajj officers are required to work longer. In addition, she urges improvement capabilities among group leaders to manage pilgrim groups.
Bulan lalu kita udah coba tanya ke Kementerian Agama, bisa nggak petugasnya dimohonkan untuk ditambah. Karena jemaahnya nambah, petugasnya 50% gitu kuotanya dari tahun lalu. Nah ini tentu akan berpengaruh terhadap kapasitas, bukan kualitas ya, kapasitas pelayanan. Nah hal-hal yang menjadi catatan tahun lalu itu untuk lebih kita perhatikan, seperti misalnya pelayanan di Armina, kapasitas petugas, manajemen sumber daya manusianya, dan mungkin nanti juga penguatan peran ketua-ketua kloter di tiap kloter ya.
Data from the Indonesian Ministry of Religious Affairs shows 21% of Indonesian pilgrims aged 65 and above. Therefore, to ensure a smooth Hajj, government must anticipate these challenges and be well prepared to manage a larger and more vulnerable pilgrim populations. TVR Parliament team reports. Let's move on to Commission 10 of the House, who urges the government to establish a special task force to develop and implement strategies to prevent bullying within educational institutions. Member of Commission 10 of the House, Adrianus Asiasidot, mentions bullying cases among students is a reflection of the current social conditions. He explains exposure to violent content on social media is one of the factors contributing to bullying. Children tend to normalize violence they see on the platforms.
Mendorong Kemendikbud untuk membuat satgas anti perundungan. Tapi sebetulnya satgas ini pun juga tidak akan bisa mengurangi atau bahkan menghilangkan kasus-kasus perundungan ini apabila memang masyarakat tidak mendukung lingkungan sosial juga tidak mendukung. Karena munculnya perundungan ini itu pertama adalah dari produk lingkungan sosial, di mana anak-anak kita yang pada kenyataannya sebagian besar waktu mereka ini kan ada di lingkungan keluarga dan lingkungan masyarakat. Jadi adanya kasus-kasus perundungan sosial ini juga sebetulnya representasi dari kondisi sosial yang ada dalam masyarakat kita.
The government has issued regulations of the Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology concerning guidelines for preventing bullying and violence in schools or educational units. This regulation strengthens the fight against violence by considering it from the victim's perspective. Mahir and Ridwan, TVA Parlemen Report. Despite efforts to eliminate illegal online lenders still persist, Commission 11 of the House urged OJK to intensify public education campaign regarding the dangers of these lenders. Member of Commission 11 of the House Melkias Marcus Mekeng points out strict regulations have been put in place to stop loan shark operations. However, the Financial Services Authority or OJK needs to increase their public education efforts to warn people about the dangers of illegal lenders. The goal is to educate people about the risk of loan sharks who can be tempting with their easy loans.
Biasanya orang yang masuk ke dalam pinjol itu biasanya orang-orang yang dalam keadaan urgent. Nah ini kan agak susah kita masuk ke dalam ranah itu tergantung daripada masyarakatnya. Yang perlu kita sampaikan kepada masyarakat bahwa karena pinjaman ini tanpa jaminan, prosesnya tidak bersusah, tentunya si pemilik dana ini akan sangat keras dan ketat pada saat penagihannya. Dan itu berdampak kepada peningkatan daripada jumlah pinjaman. Nah jadi menurut hemat saya yang harus diperkuat dari OJK adalah sosialisasi. Dan sosialisasi itu menurut hemat saya harus lebih banyak masuk ke media-media. Media cetak, media TV, media online, semua dan secara masif.
Recently, through the Task Force for the Eradication of Illegal Financial Activities, OJK released the list of illegal loan shark application and content. More than 500 illegal loan sharks and personal loans as well as 17 illegal investment have been blocked for the period of February to March 2024. From Semarang, Central Java, Bondan Imana, TVA Parlemen reports. We still have more updates on environment and technology. All that can be watched after the break, only on House News. West Nusa Tenggara takes a step in sustainable education with a school in Lombok built using the world's first plastic bricks. These innovative eco bricks made from recycled plastic waste and assemble like Legos. Taken from ABC, entire villages in Lombok were destroyed and more than 500 people were killed, while 400,000 were displaced when earthquakes hit the island in 2018. Infrastructure like businesses, homes and schools were wiped out. As part of the rebuilding process, a team of Australian and Indonesian charity organizations have set up Asia's first sustainable and earthquake-resistant school on the island. It's located in Taman Sari village, 10 kilometers north of the provincial capital, Mataram. The constructions of the elementary school Taman Sari is remarkable. The key to the school's sustainability and resilience to earthquake is the use of eco-blocks, which are made from recycled plastic mixed with wood. They are lightweight, sturdy, and easy to assemble. It only took 6 days to build the school. After laying the foundations, the blocks can be formed into walls by staking them by hand. Then the roof and windows are added. This breakthrough in sustainable constructions has set a positive example for the world, highlighting how creative thinking can help address environmental issues and promote education for a better future. Two students from high school in Kupang have made an invention, an internet-based clothes drying rack. This device goes beyond the traditional clotheslines, offering users a level of control and convenience. Quoted from Detik, Gavrila Asten and Cassandra Temaluru, two students from SMKN4 Kupang, have created an innovative internet-based drying rack. The internet connectivity allows users to remotely manage the drying process. The device can schedule the laundry to dry during peak sunshine hours, receive alerts when clothes are dry, and monitor weather conditions to prevent unexpected rain. This level of automations can simplify the lives of busy families and working professionals. Developing this internet-based clothes drying rack was not easy. Gavrila and Cassandra passed a lengthy journey from extensive research, prototyping, and testing the device. Their innovation has earned praise from the head of the Education and Culture Office of East Nusa Tenggara Province. The project has been a learning experience for Gavrila, who is now in the 12th grade, majoring in information technology. By working on this project, she levels up her thinking skill. She says the project made them more productive. This shows that tackling innovative projects can be a major learning experience, not just for the technological skills, but also for personal growth. Japan has introduced the world's first 6G device, featuring speeds that are 20 times faster than 5G internet. The device was created through a collaborative effort by telecom companies in Japan. A group of Japanese telecommunication firms have developed a high-speed 6G wireless gadget that can carry data at up to 20 times the speed of 5G. Four firms, namely Docomo, NTT Corporations, and EC Corporations and Fujitsu, form a consortium for the project. Since 2021, these companies have collaborated on research and development concerning sub-terahertz devices, foreseeing the dawn of the 6G era. Compared to the 5G network, which offers a limited internet speed, Japan's 6G prototype device demonstrated improvement in internet speed. The device showcased 100 GB per second speed on a 100 GHz band indoors and maintained the same high-speed performance outdoors. The 6G prototype device achieved better data transmissions and surpassed speed barriers by utilizing these higher frequency bands. The research and improvement of this technology will help it become faster and more efficient in the coming years. It could review communications, improve the virtual experiences, and over real-time communications. Despite offering faster speed and promising to benefit commercializations, the 6G network has some limitations. The report highlighted the 6G technology had reduced network coverage because of the lower penetration range. Additionally, this technology would face limitations due to environmental factors such as walls, rain, and others. With Japan leading the way in the race for the next generations of wireless communications, consumers can look forward to a level of connectivity and speed. And that's House News for today. I'm Reni Menaryu and all the crew. We'll see you again next time. Thank you for joining.